these were the products that made me the most happy in 2025. Hey everyone, welcome back and Happy New Year. My name is Carmel and in today's video I am taking you through my most favourite makeup products that I tried for the very first time in 2025. I am going to be doing this as quick as possible, so in speed review form, and I will ensure that I apply as many of these products as possible for you, well, as humanly possible and physically possible as I can. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. I tried a lot of drugstore, high-end and luxury in 2025, so I have not distinguished between the two. They are just mixed into every category. These are just my favourites, no matter which price point they come from. So I have broken them down into categories, and we're going to start with what I think is the most boring but most necessary category, and that is eyebrows. My number one brow product from this year is definitely this from NYX, the NYX Crazy Lift Brow Glue. So they do have another brow glue which is available in different shades, and that is really good. However, this is next level. Products either leave my eyebrows looking really shiny, full of white cast, but this does neither. It gives incredible hold to the brow hairs that I have. There's no sticky residue, it's super lightweight, and no shiny eyebrows in sight. And your eyebrows will stay in place all day long. The only thing I don't like about it is the applicator, but I will forgive that because it is so incredible. And then my other favorite brow products that I tried for the first time this year is this from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is the Micro Stroke Brow Pen. Again, I'm very fussy about brow pens because I have to use a pen to draw on fake eyebrows. These eyebrows are completely fake, and I have to draw on little teeny tiny hair strokes, and this micro fine beautiful subtle brow pen does exactly that, and they stay in place all day. There's no coming off, there's no rubbing off, they don't fade as the day goes on. My other holy grail is the Glossier Brow Flick. Well, I say it's on par with this one. The Glossier is much more heavy duty, it has a lot more pigment to it, whereas this one gives me much more natural looking eyebrows, and I literally could not be without it now. And I just love the fact that it has a spoolie on the end, which the Glossier doesn't have. So yes, absolutely amazing brow pen. So the second category is primers, and for reference, I have very dry skin. So my first favorite primer of the year is this one from Vive. This is the Super Skin Nova. So this is a moisture rich primer and ideal for someone like me who has really dry skin. So I don't generally use typical traditional primers, but one that is a moisturizer, I am completely on board with. This one is definitely what I would call a hybrid between a skincare and a makeup product. So obviously the shade of this does help to even out the skin tone somewhat, but it's not going to give you any coverage. If anything, it just feels like a very, very beautiful and nourishing moisturizer. I absolutely adore this. I think it gives me such a nice radiant glow to the skin. It does help with the longevity of my makeup because it keeps my skin hydrated all day. The only thing I don't like about the Vive is the fragrance. It has quite a strong florally fragrance and I don't really care for it. But apart from that, it really does tick the primer boxes that I need. And my other top primer of 2025 is the same but different, okay? So it looks the same in the fact that it is the same colour-ish, but this, in my opinion, is more of a serum type formula. It's not as substantial or thick as the Vive, so it's not going to feel like a moisturizer, but what it is going to feel like is a really silky and lightweight hydrating serum on the skin. And again, this also gives me a beautiful subtle glow to the skin, so nothing super overly dewy, but just the absolute perfect base for my makeup so that my skin doesn't become dry throughout the day. My makeup always looks better when I have these on under my makeup. So yes, beautiful, beautiful primers, especially for dry skin like mine. So next is my quietest category of the year, and that is highlighter, because I have really struggled with my skin in 2025. I tend to avoid highlight, which I have done today, but there's two highlights that I've tried for the first time in 2025. So the first one is from NYX. This is the Buttermelt Highlighter. And this, I genuinely was so petrified that this would be really thick, really chunky, just something that I would not enjoy. And it really did bowl me over. It is so smooth, it's so flattering, and it has quite a nice base color to it. So for that reason, you can also use this as a multifunctional product, so you can use it on the eyes as well. This is probably the best drugstore highlighter that I've ever used. The other highlighter that I tried for the first time in 2025 is at the opposite end of the price scale, and this is from Dior. This is the Backstage Glow Face Palette. So in here you have 4 different shades. Again, it's not a chunky highlighter palette. So you've got this one which can be used as a bronzer, and this one that can be used as a blush as well. I don't use them for that purpose because I don't like that much glow in those products. When I place this or the NYX strategically over my face, it just looks so incredibly beautiful, and they don't disturb the makeup on underneath, the blush, the foundation, or whatever you've got on. So yeah, these are my 2 standout highlighters of the year. Another category that was really, really quiet for me this year was contour. I didn't really think about it, to be honest, and I've definitely become lazier as the year has gone on. So for me, I just like to use bronzer. I don't really do both, but when I do, my holy grail is usually the Westman Atelier contour stick. But there's a contour that came along this year that really is absolutely fantastic and a fraction of the price of the Westman Atelier, and it's this one from Morphe. This is the Shape Lifter Micro Contour Stick. So look, I'm not the type of person that goes around my face contouring places. So I don't do my nose. I don't do anything. I don't. So lazy. But if you are the type of person that does do nose contour, that works on the cheekbones to contour those places, then this is fantastic. It's creamy. It's easy to use. It blends effortlessly, literally within single seconds. And do you know, I don't use it enough because, again, lazy. That's the only contour that I want to talk about this year. I need to use more in 2026. Can you remind me, please? Because, just lazy. I actually tried a lot of setting sprays in 2025, and the majority of them, I wasn't really that impressed with. However, there was one setting spray that I tried from the drugstore that is one that I have wanted to keep going back to, and it's actually this one from Catrice. This is the Blend and Bond setting spray. This is great, right? Because first of all, it definitely helps to keep your makeup in place. But second of all, it feels really, really hydrating, but not hydrating in the fact that it leaves your skin and your makeup looking really, really dewy. And I think it's really hard to have a setting spray that kind of does both. So hydrating, keeps everything in place, and just leaves a really natural finish. I really like it. So we're going to move on to bronzer now. I spent literally 90% of 2025 using cream bronzers. So let's just do those first. So my favorite cream bronzer of the year will be no surprise to people who have been here more than once. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Skin Enhancer. And this, it's probably my favourite makeup product of the year. I don't think it was released in 2025, but it was the first time that I tried it. And I would be happy if you took every single bronzer away from me and just gave me this, because this literally is my skin, but a lot better. When you put this on, you don't look like you've got makeup on. This is so emollient and hydrating feeling. When you put it on, it literally just sinks into the skin. It becomes one with the skin and just leaves you with a beautiful bronzed face. It does what it says it's going to do. It enhances your skin, and so naturally. And so that is my absolute number one. And I know you're not surprised at that. I also really loved this from Maybelline. These are the Maybelline Lifter Sticks. And if you are unfamiliar with these come in a real variety of shades. So I picked a shade that works as a bronzer. You can pick a shade that will work as a contour. You can pick a shade that works as a foundation. And these, again, really, really beautiful and natural finish to the skin. And like the Mario, blends incredibly seamlessly. Honestly, so natural and creamy and just beautiful feeling on the skin. This product from Physicians Formula absolutely blew my socks off this year. So this is a multi-use stick. So you've got a bronzer on one side and a blush on the other. And I love both sides. So the bronzer, like the Maybelline Lifter Sticks, very, very creamy, very, very, I mean, seamless to blend. I'd say it's a little bit more lightweight than the Maybelline Lifter Sticks. Beautiful, just incredible. And the fact that you get a blush as well. And by the way, all the shades that I use in these products, I will list down in the description box. I love the blush, it's just as good, and all of these last beautifully well. And the other cream bronzer that I wanted to talk about is this one from Morphe. This is the Sudden Heat Cream Bronzer. Wow, this is amazing. And this came along at the same time that I was using the Maybelline Lifter Sticks. They are so easy to use, so easy to apply, and this genuinely is one of the most effortless cream bronzers you will ever use. And the thing that I really appreciate with all of these bronzers is the fact that they are not too warm, they are not orange, they're not going to turn you a shade that you are not desiring. They just give a really healthy flush of colour to the skin. It feels so lightweight, but just so natural and gorgeous. At the back end of 2025, I decided to pick up a bronzer that I'd had my eye on for quite a long time. And it's this one from RMS. This is the Redimension Hydra Bronzer. The reason that I never picked it up was because it's described as quite a luminous bronzer. And I just thought, well, if there's one thing I don't want is a luminous bronzer emphasizing all of the texture that I always have on my face, on my cheeks. I took the plunge and haven't looked back since. And what I love the most about this is that it's not overly pigmented. That's the first thing. So it allows you to build up. That can also be a negative as well, but I'll explain in a minute. And the second thing is that it's not glittery or highlighty. I don't know how this works. It's a little bit of sorcery, but it just looks so beautiful, smooth and natural on the skin. So as I said, the only negative that I have is that I do actually have to work to build this up. But if I just want a natural little flush of colour on the cheeks, this is beautiful and perfect. And the second powder bronzer that I tried for the first time in 2025 is this one from Vive. Wow-y is all I can say about this product. So this is the Modern Bronzer. This is the shade medium, by the way. So if you notice in here, Jamie Genevieve, who owns Vive, she gave 2 different shades of bronzer, a little bit like the Victoria Beckham bronzer. So you have one that is a little bit warmer than the other. I love them both. It's not overly pigmented, but it's more pigmented than the RMS. And it literally just blends seamlessly. Looks so smooth. It looks beautiful. It looks quality on your face. It's just phenomenal. And you get this beautiful luxe packaging with a beautiful mirror as well. These 2 powder bronzers have actually sparked a reigniting of my love for powder bronzers. So 2026, I think I am going to be really into powder bronzers again. And it's thanks to these 2. Just beautiful. We may as well move straight on to blush, and this is probably my most favorite category. I have a little bit of a weird obsession with blush. I don't know where it comes from. But one thing that happened to me in 2025 is my passion for cream blush really reached its pinnacle, okay? So the majority of products that I liked from this year are cream blushes, but there are 2 powder blushes that I really did fall in love with this year. So the first one is this one from Say. This is the Super Suede Radiant Blush, and I just couldn't stop thinking again about this blush and this shade Mia, and this and the other blush, the other powder blush that I have, both blushes that I would wear more in the summertime. So I was worried that this would be really sparkly, that it would emphasize my texture because it is a luminous baked blush. However, I needn't have worried. So it's very subtly radiant. It doesn't emphasize texture. It just looks so smooth and so pretty on the skin. And I had a very similar experience to the other powder blush that I love. And this is the YSL Make Me Blush. I know that so many people fell in love with these this year. And do you know what? I really wish I'd have picked a different shade. I still love this shade, which is 93. For the summer, it's absolutely perfect. And honestly, I don't think I've ever had such a smooth looking blush on my face than when I've used this. Honestly, I feel like it's made for people with mature or textured skin. And again, it just gives a really nice kind of luminosity to the cheeks, but nothing that's going to be sparkly or chunky at all. And I'll look at the packaging. That's the major difference, I guess, between these two. So this looks quite cheap. You don't get a mirror, but this one is, it's looks. So they are my two absolute favorite powder blushes of 2025. It definitely wasn't as easy to pick my favorite creams because I've tried so many and I've loved so many. So one of them that I've already spoken about already is the Physicians Formula, the blush side. Absolutely love it. In fact, I did demonstrate this next to one of my other favorite cream blushes, which is this, the Dior Rosy Glow Stick. I actually demonstrated these side by side and you literally couldn't tell which one was which. This is in the shade Rosewood and this is Sun-Kissed Rose. But I do have to say that I absolutely adore this blush stick from Dior. I avoided buying this for a while in 2025 because it is marketed as a pH activated blush. So in other words, the color will change and adapt to your skin. But that doesn't happen with me. So Rosewood is for me the perfect neutral pink. And I think that's why I reach for it so often, because there's a lot of blushes that I love here, but the shade range could do with maybe a little bit of work. And this shade, Rosewood, is just absolute perfection. And I love the smell of it. For once, I love the smell of Dior. It kind of smells minty, vanilla-y. It's everything. It's beautiful. It does give you beautiful glowy cheeks. It's stunning. I absolutely love these from Charlotte Tilbury, the Unreal Blush Healthy Glow Sticks. People did ask me, are these similar? So I'd say the Dior is a little bit more sheer and it definitely remains a little bit more tacky on the skin than the Charlotte Tilbury does. But I find that these are very glowy, but not super dewy. They just do give you that healthy, beautiful, juicy glow to the skin. And I just love them so much. It's so flattering on skin like mine. It doesn't emphasize texture, it doesn't emphasize pores. It just looks stunning. It makes my skin just look good. I've got a bit of this on today, but I have mixed it with a bit of this, which is the Rhode Pocket Blush. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. This is in the shade Tan Line, and I actually love this on the lips as well, and I don't normally use them multifunctionally, but this one I definitely do. Now, I don't particularly like the packaging. I think it does look a little bit cheap, but there's nothing cheap about this formula. It's absolutely beautiful. So this is more of a natural, maybe soft satin finish, whereas the other ones are more glowy. And that's why sometimes I do like to pair them up together. And do you know what? There's nothing I can say about this other than it's beautiful. The shade is stunning. It just looks so flattering on the skin, lasts all day, just gorgeous. I'd say one of my most favorite blushes of the year is this one from Morphe. So this is the Cheek Thrills and this specific shade Blind Date. So in this you have a cream blush, you have a luminous balm, so like a highlighter balm, and then you have a powder. I mean, I know you're sick of me banging on about this. This, I would say, is a beautiful neutral pink, and that's probably why I love it so much. But the formula just blends so seamlessly. It literally does the work for you. All of these cream blushes are obviously feel really hydrating. Honestly, if you blind tested this and I told you that this cost $50, you would believe me because it's such an absolutely premium formula. Should we talk powders now? And honestly, I'm not the biggest powder fan. I have, well, despite that, I have actually tried quite a lot of loose powders this year. So I'm going to talk about my number one powder of the year, and I know that you won't be surprised at this. So this is a loose powder, and this is the Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder in soft pink. Has to be soft pink. Not only does this give me a tiny little bit of coverage and sets my makeup and blurs everything, whether it's under my eyes or on my face, but it gives that brightening quality. And hey, if there's anything I need under my eyes, it's brightening. And no matter what I put under my eyes, they're never going to look perfect. And I've definitely made peace with that, but this definitely helps me to get to a place where I'm happy with looking at my under eyes. Another drugstore powder that I want to talk about is this one from L'Oreal, the L'Oreal Blurfection Loose Powder. This is absolutely fantastic. Actually, I'm going to talk about two at once here. So I'm going to talk about the L'Oreal Blurfection, and I'm going to talk about this one from Mario, the Soft Blur Setting Powder. Okay, these are pretty much identical powders. One is from the drugstore, one is from high end. So they're both blurring, both set your makeup in place, do not emphasize texture, look incredibly smooth on the skin. So this one, I think it cost me about $14, something like that, for 6 grams of product, which is not a lot. And if you're wondering how I got this, because it's still not available in Europe yet, I got it through my brother-in-law who lives in Texas. Yep. I do put in an order now and again, but you really don't get a lot for your money. In the Mario, you get 15 grams of product, but this is genuinely such a beautiful powder. I just enjoy using it so much, and it's just so flattering on my mature skin. And I have been picking this up a little bit more than I have the Huda Beauty, which is saying something because that's always been my number one. But do you know what? Sometimes you can just go through phases. And at the moment, my phase is this. It's really beautiful. I really did not invest in many pressed powders this year, but one powder that did stand out, which is pressed, but it's not a traditional setting powder, is this one from Morphe. This is the Morphe Cloudlight Soft Glow Veil. So this is actually more of a finishing powder. And believe me when I say that this is a little filter for your skin. Although it's not designed really to set your makeup in place, it's designed to be that finishing touch for your makeup and just make everything look really beautifully soft and filtered, and it has a really, really lovely luminous finish. I do feel like this does set my makeup, and I just love it. I just dust it kind of around my T-zone, and it's just so beautiful. And this is probably the product that people have come back to me about the most and said, thanks for recommending the Morphe powder. I absolutely adore it on my skin. So yes, don't apply too much of it. Literally a dusting is all you need, and it really just looks so gorgeous. But you have to love a luminous finish to like this. But if you're looking for a dupe for the Hourglass finishing powders, it's right here. We're going to move on to concealers now, because this is probably the trickiest category for me. There's been a lot of concealers that I've tried in 2025 that I can honestly say are fabulous. So I may as well get it out of the way now. My number one concealer of 2025 is this from Maybelline. This is the Maybelline Lifter Serum Concealer. And this has become my favorite drugstore concealer. But not only that, it's become my favorite concealer of all time. I don't think I've ever had a concealer that's given me such coverage, but that just remains incredibly smooth and hydrating under my eyes. Usually those two don't come as a package. They just don't. But this one definitely does. So I don't need a lot of it. I have a bit of an issue with the shades, so I ordered 35 and 50, but neither of them work well for me. But you know, it's no surprise really when it comes to Maybelline and shades. So I do think the shades are a bit of an issue, but I do use 35 to brighten and 50 to conceal. And honestly, this is a very thick concealer. When it goes on, I thought I would hate it, but once you blend it out, it just becomes very, very serum-like, and it stays looking so smooth all day. If I don't set it, it will remain looking quite radiant. I wouldn't say super luminous, but it does have a little bit of radiance to it. Another favorite concealer of mine from this year is actually, I would say, very similar to the Lifter Serum Concealer, but not quite as good. It is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. Now, this is a tricky little trickster, because sometimes it looks absolutely amazing, but if I haven't prepped my under eyes properly, or if they are feeling it or looking particularly dry, then this can be a disaster. But it's got so many amazing qualities, this concealer, because it gives a great amount of coverage, and it has this InvisiFlex technology, which basically means that it moves with your skin. And so for me, once it sets down, it stays there all day and it doesn't move, and it is very self-setting, which I don't find the Maybelline to be. So I would say if the double wear didn't work for you, if it was just too much and you need something that just feels a touch more hydrating, I think you would find it in the Maybelline. But despite the fact that sometimes it can get a little bit heavy under my eyes, I still think this is such a fantastic concealer. Now, if I want a concealer that I don't have to think about, that I tried in 2025, that will literally just apply in 10 seconds and I don't have to spend time blending it out because it's such a super thin and lightweight formula, it's this new concealer from Chanel. This is the Ultra Laiton Concealer. This is extremely serum-like. It literally blends in a single second. This is just the perfect everyday concealer, and if I was to describe it in one word, it is smooth. It just looks so incredibly smooth. Now, it doesn't give me the same amount of coverage as the others, but it's still incredibly flattering and I really do adore it. The next one is this from Morphe. This is the Morphe Wake Up Artist Under Eye Corrector Concealer. And I specifically want to talk about the shade that I use as a corrector, as a colour corrector. This is 002 Peach. So me loving this is quite surprising because number one, I've never been the biggest fan of colour correcting. And number two, I'm definitely not a fan of liquid colour correctors. I don't know why. I've just never really got on board with them. But I'm well on board with this one. This is, without a doubt, the very best colour corrector I've ever used in my whole life. It's so lightweight, it's so serum-like, it sinks into the skin. It's absolutely fantastic. I literally could not be without this colour corrector now. And the last one that I did want to mention is this from IT Cosmetics, the Do It All Radiant Concealer. I love to use this all over the face. This is one of the best all over concealers that I've ever used, and it really is in the name, isn't it? Do It All Concealer. Out of all of the concealers that I have, and that's quite a lot, this is the best at concealing issues around the face. So whether it be hyperpigmentation, melasma, dark spots, any of those things, I feel like this is the best at that. So I did want to mention it, and obviously it's stunning under the eyes. The one thing that I hate about it, it's this applicator, the sponge tip, but I can overlook that because it is such a good concealer. So I guess we'll move on to foundations now. And this is another category where, well, first of all, that I love buying and testing and trying foundations. Out of all of the ones that I've tried, these were the ones that came to my mind as being the best of the best. So the first one will not be a surprise to you. At the very start of the year, I tried this. This is the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation, and this came as a surprise to me. I didn't try it for so long because it's a matte foundation, but I needn't have worried. So I like glowy foundations, glowy, dewy, hydrated. I like the glow. I do. I like to have healthy looking skin. When I put anything matte on my face, I just look dry and shriveled up, and you don't want to see that, okay? And I definitely don't want to see that. So that's why I didn't try this for so long, but honestly, it really does do what it says. So it gives you a luminous, but very, 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 very soft matte finish. It borders on satin. So I just love everything about this. So the first thing is how easy it is to blend out on your face. 2 single seconds, because it has that beautiful runny consistency. And it is truly my absolute favorite foundation at the drugstore this year. However, now this is a newer one to me, and I do still want to mention it. This is the new Maybelline Lifter Plump and Glow Foundation. I love this. I love how it looks on my skin. Now, my skin doesn't look as smooth as it does with the Lumi Matte, I have to say that, but the major difference between these two, this contains denatured alcohol and this one doesn't, and this one has an SPF. So because it's got an SPF in, it is quite thick in formulation, and that's the one thing that I think puts me off the foundation, and the fact that I don't have my correct shade, so I have to mix two. But I think if I had my correct shade in this, I think it would be one of my holy grails. Now, I've only started testing it in the last few weeks, so it's quite a push for me to put it on my end of year list. However, I know in the few weeks that I've been using this that I do absolutely love it. I just need to get my correct shade. So I will come back to this, but I did want to mention it because I do absolutely love it, but not quite as much as the Lumi Matte. The other drugstore foundation that absolutely wowed me this year was this little one from Essence, and I never hear people talking about this. This is their foundation stick, and this only cost about €6, if you can believe that. Now this is a very, very lightweight foundation stick. So I would say the coverage is somewhere between light to medium, which just suits me on a daily basis. And again, like with the Lumi Matte, literally blends itself. I mean, if you've ever used the Dior foundation stick and you've seen how blendable that is, This is even more blendable, so it literally just melts into the skin. It actually blends out like butter. It really, really does. And I like this because it gives me a really healthy, dewy finish to the skin. So obviously it's not going to be for everyone. I'm not sure how it would fare on more oily skin, but I just love it on a day-to-day basis. This is one of the best foundations of the year, but you have to like light coverage, although it is buildable, and you have to like a dewy, glowy finish. And luckily I like all of those things. So if we move to higher end, there's one foundation that really stood out to me this year, and it's this one by Makeup by Mario, and it's the foundation that I have on today. So this is the Surreal Skin. This is the natural finish foundation. I think they had a luminous finish, which surprisingly I never tried. I think it was because Mario just wasn't available in this country at the time. This is gorgeous. It really is, I would call a perfect finish of a foundation. So it's not obviously matte, but it's not dewy. And you know, when they say natural, in my head I think, oh well, it's undetectable. It's not undetectable on the skin, but for me, it kind of gives me, it's kind of bordering on a soft satin finish. I like how it allows my base products to come through. So today I use the Sephora Glowy Primer, and it just allows for that radiance to come through. But you know what? My skin just looks so healthy with this on. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look cakey. The shade is perfect. Shade 8N. Absolutely perfect. It smooths out the skin. It's incredibly blurring on the skin, and it just makes my skin look very, very healthy. So yeah, despite how many foundations I tried this year, those were the ones that came out on top. I think we'll move on to mascara now, and this is the only category where I don't have a mixture of drugstore and high-end. I only have drugstore because they have been my favourite mascaras. The first one is one I tried right at the beginning of the year, and this is the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal Mascara. So it gives me beautiful volume, it gives me beautiful length, and it lasts all day. And actually, I've heard amazing things about the waterproof version of this. Trust me when I say that this, I guess, going back to the name again, Big Deal, it does give you quite a bit of drama in your lashes. Never had any problems with it flaking or clumping. As I always say with mascaras though, I don't tend to get a lot of that because I don't have any oil in this face. So yes, I was completely blown away by the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal Mascara. So good. The other one that I want to mention is one that I've been banging on about every day since I tried it, and it's only a recent discovery because it's new. It's the Maybelline Lash Sensational Body Mascara. I absolutely love this. I've worn it every day. Today I forced myself to wear something different. So it gives you amazing lift. I guess it does what it says it's going to do. So it gives you body in your lashes without being clumpy, so it's incredibly clump free. And the one thing that I've noticed about this is it's incredibly buildable. Even when it dries down significantly, you can still go in and build this mascara up. The only negative I have with this is I do think it flakes on my bottom lashes a little bit. It doesn't smudge on my top lashes, but I'm fine with that. I always wear a tubey mascara on my bottom lashes anyway. But this mascara, oh my gosh, it's my new favorite. I love everything about it. Catrice brought out a new tubing mascara this year. This is the Stay in Place mascara. And do you know what? I have never been a big user of Catrice mascaras. They've never really bowled me over, but this one could pass for any luxury tubing mascara. So if you don't know what a tubing mascara is as opposed to a normal mascara, so a tubing mascara is basically a formulation that has polymers which wrap around individual lashes, and they are, I guess, the next best thing to a waterproof mascara without being a waterproof mascara, because waterproof mascaras are a no-no for me because I just can't remove them properly. So this just removes really nicely with warm water. But this honestly is the best tubing mascara I've ever used. And I remember when I recommended this, somebody came back to me and said that they absolutely think that this is better than the Hourglass tubing mascara, and I would agree. I would much rather use this. It's so much easier to use. Once it's on, it's staying in place all day and it ain't going anywhere. The other mascara that blew me away this year, and it's the one that I have on today, is this one from Colourpop. This is the Volumizing BFF mascara. So If you haven't been with me for my Colourpop debacle, I basically have put in several orders and I only got one. And this was one of the items that I did actually receive because Irish customs just keep rejecting them for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm so glad that I got hold of this. So this is one of the most beautifully volumizing mascaras I've ever used. I love length in my lashes on a day-to-day basis, but if I'm going somewhere, I prefer volume. I just like how sultry and beautiful and fluttery that a volumizing mascara can make your lashes. And this absolutely ticks the boxes. I think this performed better than any volumizing mascara I've ever used at high end, and I would be lost without it. So please can you tell me what I'm going to do when this runs out, because I can't get any more, because I don't think I could live without this beautiful volumizing mascara. It's gorgeous and probably under $10. Okay, let's move on to lips and we'll talk about lip liners. So when I first tried this one, this is the Morphe Signature Lip Pencil. It didn't really blow me away, but actually it's become such a go-to for me. And look at how much product you get. You're definitely getting value for money. And these are creamy, they are comfortable, they stick around all day. And they are just beautiful. Now, they're no different to any other lip liner. They're not going to blow you away with how creamy they are. But for some reason, I just can't stop reaching for it. Now, my other favourite drugstore lip liner from 2025, I've not actually featured this, I don't think, on the channel yet, but I have been using it consistently. This is by Kiko Milano, and this is the Creamy Colour Comfort Lip Liner. Oh my goodness, I had heard about the Kiko Milano lip liners, but never experienced them for myself. I can't believe it's taken me so long. These are creamy. They are, oh my gosh, they blend like an absolute dream, and the longevity is absolute second to none. There's a reason why these lip liners are so incredibly hyped up. I have this in the shade 21, which is just beautiful nude. I love it. It's fantastic, and I would recommend these Kiko lip liners to anybody. Now, I do have to say that I did fall in love with a really high-end, luxury lip liner this year, and it's this one from Westman Atelier. This is the Lip Shape lip liner. I was so annoyed that I paid out for this lip liner because it's so expensive. But oh my gosh, I absolutely love it so much. It's so battered. Look at it, because I take it absolutely everywhere with me. So I have it in the shade Petal. It's just perfection. I really don't think you'll find such a creamy lip liner. I wanted to hate it. I think that was the thing with it. I wanted to hate it because of the cost of it, but I cannot deny how incredibly beautiful, blendable, it's just everything. I mean, I don't know what I can say about a lip liner that makes it interesting, but all I can say is this makes me look like I have full lips when I actually do not. I love it, and it's going to hurt my heart when I have to purchase another one. I do have to give a shout to this Pat McGrath lip liner as well. This is the legendary Longwear lip liner. And the reason that I love this is the name. It's a Longwear lip liner. I don't think I've ever used such a budge-proof lip liner. So if you are constantly finding that your lip liner is fading throughout the day, it just doesn't stick around, you ain't gonna have that problem with Pat McGrath and these Longwear lip liners. They are so incredibly creamy, on par with the Westman Atelier. Now, it definitely does set down quicker than the Westman Atelier. The Westman Atelier, you can blend it out, but this one you have to work quicker. But once it sets down, it ain't going anywhere. Really, really beautiful lip liner that will stick around all day, every day. So lipsticks, lip glosses, all that kind of jazz, we'll group them into one. And honestly, I didn't buy that many lipsticks this year. One I did buy, and obviously it's from Dior because I love their lip products. And this is the Dior Rouge On Stage, and this is the shade 222. It's what I've got on my lips today. Oh gosh, I really like this. So hang on a minute. No, I need to be honest. The one thing that I hate about it is the fragrance, okay? I don't like the fragrance and the taste of it, but that comes with the territory when it comes to Dior. However, I can look past that because look, I've been chatting. How long have I been chatting for now? And you're only seeing the edited down version. It's been 3 hours now that I've been sat here chatting about these products. And I don't need to reply this. This is basically a glossy lipstick. And it goes on quite balmy, but it sets down. Now, It does set down and has a little bit of tack to it, but I've got used to that now. It doesn't stick my lips together and doesn't feel uncomfortable, but there is definitely a slight tackiness there that you don't get with a kind of a glossy lipstick. But I absolutely do not mind because I just adore this. I love how it sets down and I can go off and I can eat and I can drink and it will still look like this afterwards. I have to say that one of my absolute favorite products of the whole year is this from MAC. This is the MAC Lip Gloss Air. Now this is actually a lip gloss and I don't buy many lip glosses because I don't really like the feeling of glosses because they're just too sticky, and you know when your hair sticks to it, and I just can't cope with that. Okay, so this is like a product that feels like a lip oil but looks like a gloss. Oh, I love it. I can sit here and I can literally apply. I love the feeling of it. I love the way it looks on my lips. It feels hydrating. It feels smooth. You can rub your lips together. There's no stickiness, no tackiness, and it smells incredible, obviously, because it smells like a MAC lip product. Oh my gosh, I will repurchase this over and over and over again. It's one of the best lip products I've ever used. Another glossy product, but this is from the drugstore. This is the L'Oreal Plump Ambition Hyaluron Lip Oil. So this is a plumping lip gloss. And I don't usually go for those, but I like this. Okay, so I think there's a fine line with tingling on your lips. So there's excessive tingling, which I cannot cope with, but I like the tingling of this. So it feels kind of icy and cool, and that dissipates within a couple of minutes. And it's not painful. It's not intolerable, because if it was, I wouldn't use it. And this just gives me such beautiful looking lips. And I love the shade. This is worth it. It's beautifully cool toned, and it just is such a beautiful formula. It's a very substantial type of gloss, but it's not a gloss that gets gloopy or super sticky. I just think it's gorgeous. Now, I really did enjoy these from NYX this year, the NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum. Now, I didn't actually know that these were a lip stain when I first tried it. Put it on, and then I looked in the mirror hours later and I couldn't believe that it was still on my lips. So what I like to do with these is I like to apply a layer of it, leave it for a little bit, and then kind of dab it off. And it just leaves my lips looking naturally pigmented. And I just think these are fantastic. And I'm not usually a lip stain fan. I don't have a lot of luck with them, but these are really lovely. Now, my most used lip balmy glossy type products are actually these from Fui. These are the Fui Jelly Pots. As you can see, I've made my way through these. So I have cool tone shades, I have neutral, warm tone shades, and I have to say that I think these are the most perfect lip balm glosses that you will ever try. So they are completely non-sticky, because if they were sticky I wouldn't use them. They feel so luxurious. Now, I think they are actually designed to be a blush, like a glowy blush, but I don't use them as that. I use them as lip balms. And every time I do a tutorial on this channel, every single time during that whole video, I will be wearing one of these. Take these everywhere with me. So I have them in my beauty room, I have them in the car, I have them in my handbag, I have them everywhere. The Fui Jelly Pots are gorgeous, and nobody really talks about them, but they really should. Another lipstick that is not super traditional, because it is a liquid lipstick and it's in an applicator that looks absolutely crazy, which is this one from Refi. These are the satin lipsticks. So I picked up one shade, which was Rosa, and do you know what? The applicator I do not care for. You have to twist it up to disperse the product. But oh my gosh, the actual lipstick, wow. Okay, so forget over the fact that it looks, my husband calls it a mop when I have this out, but this gives you the most healthy, flattering, beautiful, hydrated lips with the most incredible opacity. Stunning. Now, the only thing is, they only come in these rich, earthy brown tones. I really wish they would come up with a nude, because let's be honest, we all know, let's call a spade here. We know that on a daily basis I'm wearing nude lipsticks. Come on, Refi, we need some nude shades. Honestly, if you did, I'd buy them all. So we're going to end by talking about eyeshadow. And if you have been here before, you'll know that I am a huge, big fan of one and done eyeshadows. So I am going to separate this into two categories. So one and done eyeshadows, and then also I'm going to talk about a couple of palettes that I really did fall in love with this year. So we'll talk about the palettes first. And this little palette, oh my goodness, I fell head over heels for this. This is the ABH Anastasia Beverly Hills Embers palette, the mini palette. It's the most wearable, beautiful, soft eyeshadow palette, and I love how beautifully small and convenient it is. I think this only cost me about €24, which let me tell you is an absolute steal, because although you're only paying 20 something euros, you are getting insane quality. So in here, you're not going to get any shadows that you're going to see from space, which I do enjoy. However, what you're going to get is beautiful soft satins, the most creamiest blendable mattes. And I love how you could pick any shade in here and it would make the most incredible one and done eyeshadow. It's so much more versatile than what you initially think. And I actually have a little bit of this on today. So I've got a little bit of this in the crease, and I've also got a little bit of this just on the lash line. Love. But I think my absolute number one palette of the year are these from Morphe. These are the Chroma Plus 12 pound palettes. These come in 12 pans like these, but you can also purchase them in 6. There's loads of different variations and there's loads of different color stories. I've never been a big Morphe eyeshadow fan. Things have changed with Morphe. So these mattes are beautifully blendable and pigmented. There's no patchiness or dustiness in sight. The shimmers, the satins, the metallics, just amazing, honestly. So again, you can go in with any of these as a one and done. If you want a matte eyeshadow look, go in with the matte. If you want a shimmery, sparkly eyeshadow look, you've got it all in these palettes, and beautiful cases with a beautiful mirror. Feels, really looks. However, I had a bit of a trauma this morning. So when I was getting everything together, look what happened. I broke my palette. Look, the hinge broke off it because I smashed it on the ground. But thankfully, all of my shadows are intact. So I'm a little bit sad about that. These are absolutely brilliant and they will not break the bank either. So yes, they are the best of 2025. But it's no secret that my heart lies with one and done eyeshadows, whether it be creams or whether it be liquids. So my first favorites of this year are these eyeshadow sticks from L'Oreal, the La eyeshadow sticks. So I think I have about 7 of these, and I rotate using these every other day. So they have these in mattes, they have them in shimmers, so whatever finish you are looking for, they will cater. I have warms, I have cools, I have neutrals, I have shades that I can use when I need something a little bit smokier. I actually love combining them, so using maybe a deeper shade with more of a lighter, sparkly, shimmery shade. These are fantastic, and the best thing about these, and all of these one and dones actually, is that you don't need to prep your eyelids first, okay? So you can just go in straight on the lid with these and they will last all day. The second one and done eyeshadow that I want to talk about, and this is from a brand that I only discovered this year, and this is Moira. As I said, I've got the ABH Embers palette on my lids as well, but then I topped it with this for a bit of impact. This is the Chroma Light eyeshadow in the shade Sugar Crush. I think it cost me about £4 or £5. If you can believe that. So as you can see, this gives a highly pigmented, metallic foiled effect on the eyes, almost wet looking, and it never ceases to amaze me every time I wear this, and it's one of my most complimented eyeshadows. And again, you're getting it for nothing, seriously, and they have such a massive range of shades as well. So yes, this has definitely been probably my favourite one and done eyeshadow of the year. I think one of my greatest discoveries in 2025 are these Kulfi eyeshadows. Now, I'm not typically a cream pot eyeshadow fan because it requires just a little bit more of care and a little bit more effort, because I can't just whack it on my eyelid. I really need to be careful on how I dip into this and how I apply it. So I have this in the shade Bronze Brocade, which is quite a deep bronzy colour, but I can't tell you how beautiful this is. So it has this beautiful bronzy base, but throughout it has these beautiful shimmering particles. They're like shimmering pearls that go throughout it. Honestly, it would be very hard for you to find such an impactful and beautiful cream eyeshadow like this. And the way that it looks when you apply it is how it's going to look 12 hours later. It really is beautiful. So I know I need more of these. So I think we finally made it to the end. Oh my gosh, if you are still here, congratulations. Well done for listening to me waffle on. I have tried to be as concise as possible, so I've probably missed out loads of bits of information. And do you know what? If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. I will link everything I can in the description box below. There's quite a lot to link. So please do let me know what have been your absolute favorite products that you tried for the first time in 2025. Let us know everything down in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. But until then, take care and bye for now.